I just received a monster of a lens. The new Mitakon Speedmaster Cinema Lens 25mm T1.0 from Zhong Yi Optics. That's right, T1.0. Hey, it's John Bear, so happy to see your beautiful face, and today I will review the Zhong Yi Mitakon Speedmaster 25mm T1.0 after using it on my travels and paid gigs. First, I will explain briefly what a cinema lens is, and then later I will get into the nitty-gritty of this lens. Then, finally, I will tell you what I think about it. First off, what is a cinema lens? I'm gonna give you a bit of a crash course because some of you probably already know what a cinema lens is, but there are so many new friends here on this channel that I figured I'll just go into it and bring everybody up to speed. The first difference that you will notice with cinema lenses is that it's fully geared. These are gears that make it easy to use follow focus systems. This is important because cinema lenses are fully manual, not autofocus. While it's not very convenient to have a manual focus lens, they offer a higher degree of precision, which is why cinema lenses have a longer and smoother focus ring. The gears also make it easy to use follow focus systems with, for example, an assistant focus puller, which is why cinema lenses always have focus markings on both sides, so you can easily see it whether you're the camera operator or the focus puller. Another characteristic of cinema lenses is the reduced focus breathing. This is when the lens changes focus. For some lenses, it also changes the framing in a sort of breathing effect. Some people don't mind, but many filmmakers want the focus transition to be subtle. The iris, or aperture, is declicked, which means that you can adjust it with a smooth transition, rather than the clicking of photo lenses. So for example, with a photo lens, if you go from f2 to f2.4, it will happen in like a click. But with a cinema lens, it'll happen in a smooth transition. The iris is also measured in t-stops rather than f-stops. This is basically the same in practice, except that t-stops measure the exact amount of light that is passing into the lens, whereas f-stop is more of an approximation. This is important for cinema lenses when you want to swap a lens. For example, let's say you set up the lights for a T1.6 lens, then you will know when you swap the lens to another T1.6, the exposure will be the exact same, so you don't have to adjust any of your lights or change anything on your set. When you're working with a big crew, you can't expect everybody to sit around and wait while you change all the lights just because you changed the focal length of your lens. Therefore, precise info is very important. And finally, cinema lenses are made in sets. This is done so that they all match each other perfectly at varying focal lengths, and that the gears are all in the same position, and that when you swap the lens for another, they will have the same level of contrast and color. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I asked you guys on Facebook what you want me to clarify about the lens. Hopefully I am able to deliver the answers you need. First off, some specs. The focus ring is nearly 180 degrees. I would estimate it's about 160 degrees. The front diameter of the lens is 77mm, and the focus ring dampening is very nice. Not too stiff, not too loose. Alright, let's get into all the things that you guys asked about. First off is barrel distortion. I did not notice much barrel distortion with this lens. I made another video where I explain what barrel distortion is, and barrel distortion tends to be very obvious for non-pro lenses. But as a cinema lens, this one delivers very little barrel distortion. Sharpness. Generally, I dislike sharpness tests because lenses look very different depending on how close to the subject it is, and in the end of the day, people complain that many images are way too sharp. However, this lens is never going to be too sharp. In fact, if you're thinking of buying it, you're probably one of the people that prefer the softer and more human look. However, it is quite sharp. At T2 and T4, it looks like a modern lens. While if you go below T2, it looks like a vintage lens. I still find it very sharp and nice looking at T1.4. Somebody asked me to compare this to a speed-boosted Canon lens, so here's that comparison. Focus breathing test. Focus breathing for this lens is pretty minimal, and this is something that you want from a cinema lens, so it definitely delivers in this area. Alright, chromatic aberration. In short, chromatic aberration is when you get sort of like this purple and greenish hue in very high contrast subjects. In practice, this lens doesn't have too much chromatic aberration, even at T1.0, but I did notice that if your high contrast subject is out of focus, then the chromatic aberration will be obvious. So if you want to be completely aberration free, I would suggest you do not shoot wide open. In fact, I find that the best compromise for this lens is T1.4, where you get nice, good bokeh, shallow depth of field, but also very nice, pleasant, sharp image. Alright, so next is flare test. All lenses have lens flares that are characteristic to them, so I will not comment on whether this is good or not, but I will just show you the lens flare as they appear for this lens. They appear as purple-bluish. Minimal focus distance, surprisingly close on this one. Minimum focus distance is 25 centimeters or 9.84 inches, which is measured from the sensor of the camera, and so because this lens is 4 inches long, you can focus on subjects that are as close as 5 inches to the glass element. Max focus distance. This one is probably my favorite feature of this lens, which might catch people by surprise. But the max focus distance before hitting infinity focus is 20 feet, or approximately 6 meters, which means your subject can stand far away, but still have a very nice, pleasant, blurred background. Very cool. Final conclusion, why would you get this lens? This lens has a very reasonable performance and good price, at $449. Making it the cheapest prime cinema lens that you will find. Calling it T1.0 may seem as hype, because personally I find the lens best at T1.4. I'm also a huge fan of the focus range of this lens. Being able to go 6 meters or 20 feet away and still keep the background blurry is quite cool. So if you're somebody who wants a cinema lens at a reasonable price, then these lenses are the ones for you. Generally, cinema lenses are incredibly expensive, and being able to get a cinema lens at a reasonable price is actually pretty fantastic. If there's anything about this lens that I did not answer in this video, then please leave me a comment down below. I will try to answer as many of you as I can. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you're new to the channel, then definitely check out my other videos where I go visit the volcano, and also I do some travel videos here in Iceland, so please look forward to those. Once again, I'm John Bear. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.